Today, we're going to knock out a Cornerstone mock draft. We're going to take all of the Cornerstone assets, and when we say Cornerstone, what we define that as, basically for the purpose of this video, is guys under 25 years old. So under 25 means they are not 25, they are 24 and 9/10 or younger than that. And we're going to take, so if you're asking, where's Justin Jefferson? Why is Justin Jefferson's over 25 now. So that is the parameters for qualifying for this list. What we're going to do is we're going to take all of the wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, and the rookie draft picks in Dynasty that meet this age threshold, and we're going to draft them. So what order would we draft these Cornerstone assets as it sits in week 11 of the NFL season today? We're going to be doing a Cornerstone rankings list here in the next, couple of weeks, maybe the next month and a half, but we figured we would do a Cornerstone mock draft for you. So we're going to kind of take turns drafting here, and we've got our pool of players in front of us, and I'm going to go first because I think the number one asset right now of all these Cornerstone guys that you want to have is Ja'Marr Chase, in my opinion.
Yes.
Ja'Marr Chase, you're finally seeing what we wanted to see from Ja'Marr Chase. And Ja'Marr Chase is still under 25 years old. The fact that he's on this list should at least surprise you a little bit. Now, he is 24.7 or something like that. So he is not he's not safely in this list, but he is somebody that you are going to have on your Dynasty team for the next 6 years. And now we know that wide receiver one upside that we hoped Ja'Marr Chase has, he hasn't. We know it. He already has 225 PPR points last year. This year. Last year he had 262, so he's already eclipsing that. He's definitely going to score more points this year than he has ever in his career. He's going to be the wide receiver one most likely, and he's absolutely cooking. So he's going to get. Has he? What's his current contract situation? Has he already gotten the extension? I can't remember.
No, he is not,
because he was holding out
to bet on himself, and it's working.
Yeah, so he's going to be the highest paid wide receiver. I mean, I would think they're going to pay him more than Justin Jefferson after the season. So contract insulation, age, production, offense, quarterback. He is the best Cornerstone asset in Dynasty. I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to get cute here. I am going to go with Malik Neighbors. I think that he's kind of come down to earth production-wise, but the targets are still there. The opportunity is still there. Wow.
Inhaled a fly.
I seriously did. I got so excited talking about Neighbors. But look, they went out of their way. The Giants went out of their way to draft Neighbors top 6 because they knew how good of a talent he was. I think they had a higher grade on Neighbors than they did Marv. And they had so many needs. Quarterbacks specifically. They went and they got him because they knew how good he was. They're going to go get a new quarterback next year. And when they get a halfway competent passer at the quarterback position, I think Neighbors is a locked-in top 6 productive wide receiver. He's phenomenal. So to me, it's not even a question. I'm not too worried about the situation. There is some unknown there for sure, which does make you worry. Like talents like Drake London, for example, that took a couple of years to finally be productive because you didn't know what he was going to do and what that situation was going to look like. There is some concern there with Neighbors. I don't care. We're talking about Cornerstones. Neighbors is going to be locked in, I think, top 12 picks in your Dynasty startup drafts for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, probably 6 years.
Yeah.
Minimum. I'm going to take Bijan Robinson here at the 103. In my opinion, Bijan has cemented himself as the running back one for now in Dynasty Fantasy Football. I think him and Jahmyr Gibbs were kind of giving each other a run for their money, but Bijan has been more productive than Jahmyr Gibbs. He does have the backfield to himself, and Bijan has been doing everything you wanted him to. He's been getting the snap share that you wanted him to, and his last 5 games here, 34, 21, 23, 28, and 25 points. That's elite. That is elite. You don't see that type of production very often in fantasy football, let alone Dynasty. Bijan Robinson is still only 22 years old. And so he's a guy that if you have him on your Dynasty team, you're feeling really good about it. And right now, I think he does take the running back one title in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So I'll take him here at the 103.
I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. here. I'm going to stick with him. I think that a lot of people have been disappointed by what Marv has done this year, and that's understandable. But let me tell you that we kind of saw this coming. We knew that it was going to happen with a lot of these rookie assets and that Marvin Harrison Jr. could potentially start slow, and he has, and he's shown flashes of being elite and phenomenal as well. I'm not worried about this at all. He is going to easily maintain his value. He has so much insulation, and this is an offense in a situation that's on the up. Kyler Murray is getting more and more comfortable with this offense and with this style of play, and that's going to really bode well for Marvin Harrison Jr. long term. When you watch him play and you see the catches that he makes and his route running ability, like everything that he did at Ohio State, I think he is reflecting at the NFL level. It just is going to continue to take a little bit of time volume wise. He's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it at all.
I think here at the 105, you're between Garrett Wilson and Drake London. They're the wide receiver 3 and 4 in the season. These guys are all in the same tier. I'll just take Drake London here. Look, I think with Drake London, he's doing everything this
people
year.
will hate that pick too.
Why?
I don't know.
He's the wide receiver 4 on the year.
Seriously.
Do you hate that pick? I don't think people will. They shouldn't hate that pick. I mean,
I love that.
Drake London is the wide receiver 4 on the year, and he's 23 years old. He's playing with Kirk Cousins, and when Kirk Cousins dies, he's playing with Michael Penix.
Here's why. When you look at his ranking on Keep Trade Cut, he is still going at the beginning of the 3rd round in Dynasty startups, which makes absolutely
is ridiculous.
No sense
It makes him a Dynasty buy. He's definitely a buy in Dynasty if that is where his price is going to be. He was going in the 3rd last year. That one's mine. I feel like let's get some London love. He's averaging 16 points a game this year, and so look, and Garrett Wilson, I feel similar about. I won't talk about him too much, but there's really no. They're in the exact same tier. You take one or the other. I don't really care. So go ahead and take whoever you want.
This is where it gets a little difficult. I'm kind of in the same boat as you with some of these guys. I'll go with Garrett Wilson. He's wide receiver 3 on the year. His target volume is ridiculous. And now that target volume is actually translating to points alongside Devontae Adams in that offense now. There's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of movements with the Jets and that organization overall this offseason. But what I will say is I am confident that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. I think he's actually said it himself. He expects to play there for the next couple of years. And I think Garrett Wilson is going to be chilling, locked in this range for the foreseeable future. Even with the long-term questions at quarterback, I don't really care because you saw the target volume that he was getting before that happened with literally no quarterback, with Tim Boyle at the helm. Even when Rodgers is gone, they're probably going to have a better quarterback than Tim Boyle. So he looks phenomenal. He looks elite. It's great to see him finally get this production that we were expecting for a couple of years.
I'm going to take Puka Nacua here. I think that Puka is another clear choice. He hasn't played the entire season this year, but he is still very young. He is 23 years old. He has continued to get really good target volume when he's been healthy this year. Obviously, the health is going to be the main concern for him. It's why he's going here in the mid first of this draft, but Puka has as much upside as really anybody on this list. He just needs to stay healthy, and he needs to show it there. So I think Puka, if you have him in Dynasty, you feel really good about him. And a lot of people are going to be worried, like, oh, when Stafford leaves, like, what's going to happen? Guys, Puka transcends. Puka's that good. Puka, you don't accredit Puka's success to the situation because, in my opinion, it's lazy. Puka Nacua is that good, and he should be treated as that good. He's that good of a wide receiver. He's that good of a talent. He's elite, so he should be drafted as such.
All right, this is when it gets fun. I'm going to go with the first rookie pick here. I'm going to go with an early first. I think that there are a lot of guys left on the board, obviously, like Gibbs, like Brees, like HN, like even BTJ, honestly, Bowers, that you could consider to take over that early first, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. What I know without a shadow of a doubt for a fact that this early first is going to at least be valued in this range, if not higher, the closer we get to the Combine and the NFL Draft in 2025. Ashton Genty is going to be valued close to, I think, an early second-round pick in Dynasty startups automatically because of how good he's been and how elite he looks in the receiving game and in the run game, and just the value of that overall. You've got the top wide receivers going in that range in Tet McMillan. You've got Genty, who I already mentioned. You've got the number 1 quarterback prospect that will be going in that range in super flex formats. That's just invaluable, and it's automatically going to be valued in the range of Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, and the guys after this pick that we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah, and the rookies are going to be huge this year. We actually have version 1 of our rookie draft guide available now. Version 1 is going to be very high level. We have all the players in here that we think you should get familiar with, and all of the stats last year from them, and then a write-up on them. So everything you need to get started on your rookie draft process for your Dynasty leagues, you can get that, and you can get a free team blueprint when you sign up for the annual MotherFlocker tier using code DOMAIN. You got to use code DOMAIN when you sign up, but again, once you get that annual MotherFlocker tier, you are able to get a free team blueprint, which is going to give you your 3-year outlook. It's going to give you your team archetype. It's going to give you trade targets, guys you should be selling, your positional grades, everything you need to make sure you are pursuing a Dynasty championship either this year or next year. And then you do get that Dynasty rookie draft guide version 1, as well as all the versions after that. We're going to have at least 4 or 5 versions of this. Next one's going to come probably after December, but you are going to get both of those things when you sign up for the annual MotherFlocker tier. So like I said, flockfantasy.com/domain. Link is going to be in the pinned comment, also be in the description for you. But at the 109, I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Gibbs is one guy I would consider taking over an early first still, just because he is the running back 5 on the year. He's been really good, and obviously he has a ton of receiving upside as well. Even though he hasn't really tapped into that a lot this year, he still has had some games that get 30-point game, 42-point game where he's had really elite rushing statistics. He's been really good on the ground this year. He's 22 years old. So Jahmyr Gibbs is everything you want out of the Dynasty running back 2, in my opinion. So I'll take him here at the 109.
I'm going to take Brock Bowers.
I think he was next.
This is, to me, a no-brainer, honestly. And I know the tight end position is disgusting. The tight end landscape is horrible. Brock Bowers is not your stereotypical tight end. And I know people have a little Kyle Pitts PTSD where we had this conversation about Pitts in the past and like, this is the same sort of situation, a terrible offense where the quarterback situation is in limbo and Kyle Pitts, not your stereotypical tight end, playing like a true wide receiver. Brock Bowers is not even Kyle Pitts. Brock Bowers, in my opinion, is a better talent than Kyle Pitts, where he is a wide receiver. He is a slot. He can play on the outside, and he can literally be a freaking running back and get rushing touchdowns apparently as well. So with Bowers, I think he's going to be utilized like crazy. He is their Corvette. Seriously, he's their Lamborghini. He's everything fancy about the Vegas Raiders, which isn't that much, but he's going to get so much usage and so much opportunity regardless of who's the quarterback and what that situation looks like over the next couple of years. I'm not really worried about it like I was with a guy like Kyle Pitts. We both were kind of reluctant to take him super high, and Bowers isn't going to be valued at the ceiling that Kyle Pitts was to begin with anyway, so he's just a more reasonable, palatable price.
Yeah. Does Bowers have a rushing touchdown in the year?
I don't know if he does, but he has in college and he's gotten some carries.
Oh, okay.
So.
I was like, I don't remember that, but then I'm making sure I'm not crazy. I'm gonna take Breece Hall at the 111 here. I look with Breece. It's obviously disappointing. He's still running back 1 in the year. I'm worried about him being in Jets purgatory. I'm worried about him being in quarterback purgatory. I'm worried about all of it. But he is Breece Hall. He's still an elite talent. He is definitely the next most talented running back on this list. And when I'm looking at the receivers, like I think there's a pretty big teardrop here. There's still a couple guys here I want, but I'll take Breece Hall here just because I do think he belongs here.
I'll take Brian Thomas. I think Doug Peterson, it has been so underplayed how bad of a head coach Doug Peterson is and how he's just incapable of really adjusting to this modern style of football and really playing to Trevor Lawrence's strengths and everyone's strengths in that offense. Brian Thomas has really, really solid wide receiver 1 upside. I think going into his second year, he's going to be really inconsistent for the rest of the season. He might even lose a little bit of value, which I kind of expected, which kind of makes him more of a buy, I think, this offseason than it was earlier when he was going crazy, especially with Trevor Lawrence and his injury troubles. So with BTJ, I'm not worried about him as a talent. We liked him coming out of LSU. And you remember flashback to when it was Brian Thomas Jr. or Troy Franklin before the Combine?
I don't want to talk about it.
Remember those days?
That's ridiculous.
Those were the days.
That's ridiculous.
Brian Thomas Jr. has elite level upside, elite level traits. I think the situation in Jacksonville is going to be overplayed as like a negative for Brian Thomas and his outlook, and I think it's actually the complete opposite. I think Lawrence is going to be great for him long term.
Yeah, interestingly enough here, I feel like there is I feel like our top 12 is pretty solid. Like these are the 12 players I think I would take in any order. So let's go and start in the second round now, and I think here, I think I'm going to just take Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers has been too good for me to ignore at this point. He's a wide receiver 1 on the year. He's the wide receiver 9. He's obviously young. He's 24 years old. But he's playing, and he's tied to Lamar Jackson, who is playing the best football of his career, passing the ball better than he has in the
back-to-back MVP, baby.
It's Lamar's wide receiver 1, young. I think Zay Flowers. I think he still could end up being a pretty good value in Dynasty. Honestly, he's still somebody that for some reason I kind of have the heebie-jeebies about sometimes. But right
so
now,
do I.
It's just weird. But right now on Keep Your Cut, he's still like the wide receiver 15. Overall, is still going in the 4th round.
Yeah.
So, I'm good with that price. I'll draft him there. I will absolutely draft him there. I have to convince myself, but
it's almost like his boom bust stuff is almost baked into his price.
I think it is, and I think that's why I think he's a pretty good value here. So I'll take Flowers.
Yeah, got to go Achane here. This is a pretty easy pick for me.
Guy.
I considered taking him in the first round of this Cornerstone mock, but with Achane, with him still being here, I understand that there's risk with him, and he is going to be boom bust, and there's injury questions there. He's already been injured for a few games this year, and honestly, clearly everyone's production in that offense is directly tied to whether Tua is or is not on the field, and that has become a legitimate question as well. All of this is being baked into Devon Achane's price, and I think it's just worth taking him here because his upside is ridiculous.
Yeah, I
second
honestly,
to none.
I was considering taking him earlier too. The main thing that I'm scared about with Achane is how long does Mike McDaniel last in Miami?
Well, he just got a significant extension, I believe.
They've been really bad this year, though.
Yeah,
like,
they
have
been bad. They have been bad.
So what I'm worried about with Achane, does he get in quarterback purgatory with Tua? Does he get Tua? It's like, is he going to be there?
Tua got extended though.
I know, but is he going to be good while he's there? Is he going to be healthy while he's there? And then if Devon Achane doesn't have Mike McDaniel, what does it look like for him? Right. I'm really curious about that. So I think there are some questions to his value. It's somebody that I really liked as a buy early in the season. But I'm going to take Rashee Rice here. I think this is a good discount for Rashee Rice, but I think you do also have to take into account he is going to miss at least into part of next year because he did tear his ACL midseason this year. And then also, if he does end up getting suspended at all, that would be tacked on to what he misses next year when he does get healthy. So you're talking about him missing anywhere from half to 3/4 of next year. It's going to be a while before you get Rashee Rice back. And Rashee Rice is plenty talented, but do keep in mind, Rashee Rice came in as an older prospect, right? And so by the time
this will be the last time he's on the Cornerstone list.
It is, but by the time he's back on the field, he's already going to be 25 and a half. Yeah. Yep. So like, I mean, I like Rashee Rice. We were big Rashee. I had Rashee Rice in my dynasty leagues. I think I had him in almost half of my dynasty leagues. So hooray. But at the same time, I feel like you can't ignore some of the glaringly obvious questions about Rashee Rice. He is Patrick Mahomes, wide receiver one. He's very, very good. You are going to miss some production from him when he's not on the field next year. And so I think if he were healthy, you would probably be taking Rashee Rice at the 107 here. But because of the injury, because of the circumstances, because of his situation as a prospect as a whole, you got to put him, I think, here in the second round with the Zay Flowers type. So yeah,
this range is starting to get a little hairy.
Yeah, it is hairy.
I'm going to go with another player, and I will take Jayden Reed. I'm not going to react to Jayden Reed not producing consistently the last couple of weeks. He's skyrocketed like that. I think the next time he has a 30-point game, he's going to do it again. He is very safe, I think, in that situation, tied to Jordan Love long term. So I'm not really worried about it. He could potentially be one of the better early offseason buys if he starts to come back to earth a little bit. Avery was saying this in one of our last videos where he's kind of similar to, or it was in the live stream. He said he was very similar to Josh Downs and his value spikes last year, but like at a higher level. So with Jayden Reed, love the way that he's utilized. They utilize him in the running game as well. He's very explosive, not going to get a ridiculous amount of volume, but again, I think he's very safe. And I do like the upside that he's shown in flashes more consistently even than the rest of the guys in that offense. They've tried to make it a 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D's sort of situation there, but clearly Jayden Reed is the best talent there. And I do think that Josh Jacobs is just so hit or miss long term and unknown what he's going to look like in that offense for the next couple of years if he even stays there, because it is a multi-year, 1-year deal.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kenneth Walker, actually.
I think that's the other guy I was
because
considering.
like I feel like Kenneth Walker could be as high as the 201 here.
Yep.
I mean, I really do. Like he's a young running back that is producing at a very high level. I don't really have any questions about him other than the fact that he has been a little bit hit or miss as the season has gone on this year, and he also has struggled to stay healthy since he's been in the NFL. But he is somebody that I'm pretty comfortable as a running back. Like I'm pretty comfortable owning him in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So I think he could be anywhere in the second round, and I feel comfortable with it. I think this is a really big glob of guys right here, like a big glob of guys.
Huge glob.
So, yeah.
Glob. Rome Odunze, I'm going to take next. I think Odunze is one of the safest cornerstone guys in this range that you can own on a rebuild, reload, really any team. He's going to maintain his value easily. Shane Waldron obviously just gets fired. And Eberflus, I think, is not far behind. You're going to look at a very different offensive situation and overall team situation for the Bears next year. That's going to be positive for everyone in that offense. And with Rome Odunze, the talent and the draft capital that he has being tied to Caleb Williams and that passing volume is going to be enough for him to not only maintain, but I think maybe even slightly increase in value as the offseason progresses heading into 2025. I think that he's a great pick in this range.
It's getting tough. Honestly, I don't feel like there's a clear pick here. I guess I'm just going to take Kyren Williams, the other running back here. I mean, because he is, in my opinion, the clear next best running back off the board. The wide receivers get messy after this, so I'll take Kyren. Obviously, I'm worried about Kyren if that team situation changes for him. But he's obviously, when he's been on the field, been really good. He's 24 years old now, and he's only played 2 years. So I'll take Kyren Williams here and lean on the running back some more.
I'll go ahead and I'll take a mid-first. I think, again, very similar story to an early first. Your mid firsts are going to increase in value. It'll take a little bit longer for them to increase in value, but they'll start skyrocketing the closer you get to the NFL draft. Once we really get to know these prospects and their talent and their upside after the combine in March. So this is a very safe pick. This is a very easy pick, in my opinion. You know exactly what you're going to get. And in this running back class, I mean, you're starting to see, we've only talked about 6 running backs so far, and it just falls off a cliff after this with the cornerstones. We need running backs in 2025 to take over the running back world in Dynasty, because it is ugly right now from a cornerstone perspective in Dynasty with those running backs.
I'll take JSN at the 209. You know, JSN, obviously, he is a wide receiver 2 on the year. The thing is, though, most of his production has come from just a couple games, and he still has been very hit or miss. Like, even being on the field a lot more this year, JSN's just not the dominant target earner that I thought he was going to be consistently. And so I hope to see that consistently from JSN here soon. I do think he's around the wide receiver 15 to 20 range right now in Dynasty, but I think in terms of putting him in here with this guys, I think this is about the range that he falls right now. So
with the recent stretch of production an even remotely competent passer, I think you have to go with George Pickens.
I think
here.
So too.
George Pickens has demonstrated now that he is capable of being a low-end wide receiver 1, production-wise, when he has anyone that can throw the ball even remotely accurately and consistently. So with Pickens long-term, do we have questions? Maybe. His talent is still great. It's honestly the red zone opportunity is enough for me to take him here comfortably, because I just love how they utilize him in the red zone and how many targets they're giving him. Even when he scores 11, 12 points, he's getting like 3-4 targets in the red zone. That's something that you love to see for a guy that you think could have a significant amount of upside long term. And you've seen in the past too how well Mike Tomlin and the Steelers have developed wide receivers. They start a little bit slow and then they come on and then they start producing at an elite level. Yeah. George Pickens as a talent, I think, has really impressed me this year, and it has grown on me quite a bit. So
yeah, I'm going to take Josh Downs here at the 211. I think Josh Downs is producing as a wide receiver 2 right now, having not played the first 2 games of the season in maybe the worst situation in the NFL. Maybe. It might be the worst situation in the NFL. Anthony Richardson is cheeks, Joe Flacco is cheeks.
Holy crap, I didn't know that.
There's
wide receiver 2.
He is the wide receiver 20 on the year.
Wow.
I mean, it's impressive. Honestly, you could make a pretty good case to take Josh Downs over Pickens, JSN. I think you can make a great case to take him over JSN right now. Probably not Reed and Rice yet, but I mean, Josh Downs has, if Indy gets their stuff together, fires everybody, maybe drafts a competent quarterback, Josh Downs is going to be a wide receiver 2 pretty consistently. I mean, every year. Yep. And this is, I mean, flashback 2 years ago when me was shouting this from the rooftops that he was this good, and nobody listened because he fell in the draft. Lo and behold, Josh Downs is this good. He is this good. This is not a fluke. He is this good of an NFL wide receiver. There's no question about it. I think you could take him anywhere from like the 204 to the 212 here, and I would be very comfortable with it. And that's me. Obviously not trying to be biased. I hate the Colts right now, but a lot of people are saying, sell Josh Downs this offseason. They're like, Josh Downs is going to be. That was the wrong call. Josh Downs has doubled in value since the offseason. So if you sold him, I feel bad for you. But remember, we were flip-floppy a little bit, but it's because his value was flip-floppy.
It was very
our final verdict was buy.
Yep.
Because he got low enough, we're like, okay, we're buying now. And so hope you did buy. But
Bye. I'll take Ladd here, and I'm super pumped about this and this price. He's going to be around this price, I think, all offseason. There's going to be legitimate questions about his upside and what he's going to be able to do in an offense where Greg Roman is the OC. I understand the concerns. It's baked into his price, and he's shown what he's capable of in flashes this year as well. I think he's legit as a talent. I think he's great for Justin Herbert in that offensive system. I think QJ is going to be the more boom-bust guy that people are going to be more excited about because of his big playability and just his build overall. Ladd is going to be more consistent, and I think he really is going to be Herbert's number one guy long-term. I think he has the talent and the ability to be a true number one wide receiver for Herbert as well. So I'm not too fazed by this situation. I think Ladd is going to be really solid.
All right, let's do some rapid fire third rounding here.
Yeah.
All right. Brooks. I'll take him at the 301. I look, obviously the main thing with Brooks, I would have had him higher before this, is that he probably is not going to be productive this year. But and honestly, okay, actually, no. Rewind. I lied. They just signed Chuba to a big contract.
Yeah.
That's honestly not great for Jonathan Brooks.
It's not good.
It's not great.
No.
I will take Chris Olave here. I'll take Chris Olave. Obviously, Chris Olave's situation's not been great, but Chris Olave himself hasn't really been great either, and he has had multiple concussions at this point, so we'll kind of monitor that. But I'll take Olave. I am not comfortable taking Brooks. I lied. So
when is one of us going to do it? I'm not going to do it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm going to take Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it either. He hasn't done anything.
He's bad.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts has been very boom bust this year. He again has demonstrated his upside. And I think if he can continue to develop chemistry with Kirk Cousins long term, and really if that can bleed into Michael Penix being phased into that offense as well long term, we'll see what he can do alongside Drake London and Bijan.
I'll take Keon Coleman here. I think Keon's shown some flashes this season. He's got a lot of upside. He's playing with Josh Allen, so I really like that. I'll take him here at the 3.
I love Keon, dude.
Yeah, I do too.
I love Keon. Gosh, dude. I mean, at this point, any one of these remaining players left, I would rather have a late first. Give me a late first. I know the depth of the class is going to be a question that people have until close to the NFL draft. Again, we'll see at the combine. I think the wide receivers are very safe. I don't think it's as deep as 2024. I think the running backs are much deeper.
Class we've seen in 10 years.
Right. And seriously? At that point, you had a ridiculous amount of depth all the way down into the late second. So I'm not worried about the late first this year. I think they're going to be fine. I think you're going to have a decent amount of running back shots that you can take there as well, with some quarterback followers potentially. I think the quarterbacks are being a little bit undervalued at the moment. I think you're going to have a solid 3, maybe 4, probably more in the 3 range this year, but I think it's going to be fine.
All right, we have to go faster. We're going to run out of time. Jordan Addison, I'll take him at the 305. He's been fine this year, and he is still the wide receiver 2 for JJ McCarthy when he comes back, but right now he's kind of in wide receiver purgatory. So,
yep, give me Xavier Worthy. We'll see if he can build off of what he's been doing year 1. He'll maintain his value at least because of that situation.
Yeah, I think he will. I'll take Xavier Legette here. Honestly, I would prefer Legette over Worthy here of the Xaviers. But Legette is a little bit touchdown dependent, but he is, again, in one of the worst situations in the NFL, and so you have to keep that into account.
All right, I'll do it. I'll take Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta has been awful this year. There's no way around it. Absolutely no relevant target volume whatsoever. He's gotten a couple of touchdowns. Outside of that, he's done nothing at all. Someone tell us what to do with him.
I will take Trey Benson. I honestly probably would have taken Trey Benson a couple spots higher than this, but I think he's a good value here. He's probably going to be the running back 1 in Arizona next year. Honestly, Trey Benson could be anywhere in this round, and I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, seriously. And then I'll go with, I
would take Brooks here.
I think I'd take Brooks as well. We already talked about it. It's disgusting. Chuba gets that ridiculous extension. The Carolina Panthers are a dumpster fire. Jonathan Brooks still has good draft capital.
Khalil Shakir's under 25?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
I know.
Shoot, I guess I'll take him.
Okay, wow.
I mean, why not? He's been a wide receiver 2 this year. He's tied to Josh Allen. Like, what's his deal?
I just think he has no upside.
Well, I mean, what? He's a wide receiver 2, though. Like, that's his upside.
Right, but like when you look at the actual, log,
I mean, what you got? I mean, Jameson Williams has upside, but he's not getting near the targets that Khalil Shakir is getting. Pearsall has. I mean, honestly, maybe Tillman should have been up here.
I would go between Tillman and Pearsall. You pick which one you like. I'll go with the better offense. I'll go with Pearsall.
Okay.
He was just productive this last week with everybody back at full strength. Obviously Ayuk coming back, but Debo long term we don't really know. CMC long term we don't really know. So I'll go with Pearsall.
So some other guys that could have made this list, just for the record,
Tillman,
Tillman honestly could be anywhere. We don't know with Tillman. It's mid-season. We'll have to see it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a hold in Dynasty. If you have him, you're holding him.
Yep.
Romeo Doubs, Quentin Johnson, Adai Mitchell, Jamario Douglas, Jalen McMillan. You got Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Tank Bigsby, Braylon Allen.
Corum.
Yeah, you got Tucker Kraft, and then all the second-round picks. So all those guys were in the mix here. But do us a huge favor. Make sure you drop a like if you play Dynasty. Make sure you subscribe. And like I said, flockfantasy.com/domain. Use code DOMAIN. Choose the annual MotherFlocker tier to get our rookie draft guide version 1 and all the versions after that. And to get a free team blueprint with the annual MotherFlocker tier. Like I said, you have to use code DOMAIN. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.